Good afternoon, everyone. Hey guys, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with the nightly market update for Wednesday, November the 16th. Let me get my, here we got NQES, and then I've got the ticks that we watch on an intraday basis. And today was a relatively flat day. I mean, compared to most, we ended up on the day down 32 points on the S&P, which we'll look at the ES here, and the the black section here is the cash session right there. This is the overnight session. So I always like to look at the overnight session, and it kind of gives you an indication of where we, at least where we've been, where we might go. And as you can see from the day before here, we had a wild swing here, of course. Straight, oops, let me get this back over here for you. Where did it go? Let me do a 2-day here. So we had right here, we had, this was when PPI was released on Tuesday, pre-market, boom, and it came in 0.2% better than expected, right? Doesn't look like much, but we got a big pop out of it. What that means, it implies that wholesale inventory prices are rising, inflation might be coming down. That's the same thing we got from CPI last week. So, you know, we're kind of off to the races here, 40-50. Again, that's ES. And then when the cash session started, we're kind of back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. And right here is when the Russian missile thing in Poland happened. Boom, straight down, and then wait a minute, it wasn't a Russian missile. Oh, straight back up. Basically, you know, so we're back and forth, back and forth. Then overnight session, we're kind of chopping around, and then today, much less volatility here. Just kind of back and forth action. But you know, we're still trying to make heads or tails out of all this kind of stuff. This was CPI. And when we got this CPI number here, boom, I mean, this was just, we're up, up, and away, you know, nothing but net, higher, 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 and we're still kind of chopping. So, you know, what happens next? And if we go out here on a little bit longer time frame, now I've got the voodoo lines up on this chart, which voodoo lines are Elliott wave lines. And this red line is called a fire line. That's the strongest line. In other words, that's a magnet pulling price towards it, and also as a level of resistance that we would have to get over if we were to get through it. So I think that we probably go up here. That's 4,100. It's not that far away. And I think that probably, I think we have a very good chance of failing from that. And coming back down, and I was very comfortable and confident in that assumption until that CPI number came out, which again is that green bar right there. I mean, that's a huge, 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 huge move, right? And that is PPI. So how will this resolve? Well, we really won't know anything. Today is Wednesday, November the 16th. If we go over to December 13th, I believe it's the 13th is the next CPI release date. We'll have payrolls before that, but the 13th, I believe, is when the next CPI release date will be, and that can be the game changer for us, because what that means is that if CPI comes in once again cooler than expected, that is going to indicate to the market that inflation has peaked and is starting to come back down. The Fed's got it under control, all that kind of good stuff, and you know, we could be off to the races. So if that's the case, then we take this red fire line out, and we probably go much higher. We'd probably have to hear from the Fed, which is a week or two after that, as far as, you know, we're going to take our foot off the gas and maybe tap the brakes a little bit as far as hiking interest rates, and then we're off to the races. The other side of that is that, you know, we get, so between now and the CPI release date, I think we come up here and probably chop. I don't think we probably come back down here. I don't think. If that number comes in hotter, then that will mean that last month's number was a blip. and we're not peaking out on inflation. In fact, we might, we get a really hot number and inflation ticks up. It will indicate to the market that we're far from being over with inflation. The Fed's going to keep raising rates and all that kind of stuff, right? And then in that case, we keep going down, down, down. So there's no way to know, right? The good news is, if you're trading this the right way, it doesn't matter which way we're going, up or down. And the bad news is that, and the other good news is we probably will have a fair amount of chop between now and December the 13th. We got Thanksgiving week next week and all that stuff. So probably not a lot's going to happen. And then, after that, we'll get a much more clear idea of which way we're going to go. I'll be kind of shocked if that number comes in too much better on CPI, but we got quite a good bit of ways to go until we actually get to that number. So in the meantime, just trade this thing carefully. Be very nimble on your trades, that type thing. If you want, I'm up very nicely on the year, and I am actually doing a coaching program. We'll put a link after the end of this video if you want to check it out. We're doing a webinar tomorrow night, so you can see what it's all about. The webinar is free. Come and check it out, and I'll kind of show you what I do, the strategies I use, and how we use them, and all that kind of stuff. So try to check that out if you can. And if you want to trade alongside me and other great traders in the Simpler community, join me in the bias room, which is my room that I run, or in our main room at Simpler Trading, and I'll be glad to help you with any questions that you have. So that's my time. I appreciate it. Be careful in this market, be nimble, and put those dates of upcoming events on your calendar so you can be well aware of it. And I'll remind you again, I do the videos on Wednesday night, so check out next week's video and the week after, and the week after as we prep for the big day, which is the next CPI release. So thanks for the time. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Without Simpler Trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency. It's one of the things that won me